So did you hear about the recent case about this Bentley driver who trying to pick up his daughter or son at Red Swastika actually almost mowed down the security guard?
Yeah, very gangster.
Yes. So security guards are often at the brunt of a lot of abuse, and it's very, very sad that way. So do you actually think that instead of a security guard standing there, a policeman, would he be doing the same? Adi?
I don't think he would inch forward and hurt the policeman simply because I think they understood the power of a policeman, and he failed to see the power that the security guard has in order to handle the situation. So there's a lot of disrespect there. He doesn't care. He said, to them, security guards are just redundant.
Why do you think that is?
Status, one. They think that it is a job that not meant for the higher end of the education spectrum would want to do. It's a status issue. That's what I think. They just do not respect those whom they think is not right for them.
So I think it's quite sad, no? If you start looking at status and the kind of job you have. I mean, next you'll be saying, oh, the cleaners are lower level, so you just bohue them. But the cleaners together with the security guards, they perform a very vital role in the economy, in our society, keeping us safe, doing day-to-day things that needs to be done.
That's what you said, right? That's because you are more au fait with the whole environment, with the whole condition of what Singapore needs to grow up as a mature country. But let's take 2 steps back and go like, oh, Kevin, your daughter wants to marry a teacher? Oh, he wants to marry a cleaner? He wants to marry a taxi driver? The perception of all these job matters, right?
So you're saying it's a societal issue?
It's a societal issue, yes. It's the respect that we have. It's not about honest living anymore. It's about, oh, my son is a lawyer, my son is a teacher, my son is a pilot. So the amount of money that you earn matters. So that's when the respect comes from, the economic power. So that's what I think, but it's just my personal view of it.
But it was really shocking for the Bentley driver to actually want to inch and actually hit and touch someone. I mean, we all go to driving school and you're not supposed to hit. It's considered an assault or hit and run already. So I think that's quite shocking. Yeah.
But I guess sometimes it's not about societal issues. Sometimes I think it's more about frustration.
Frustration against whom?
No, when you're so frustrated with time limitations and all that, I have to go and pick the kid up by a certain time. I have to bring the child home by a certain time in order to get back to work on time.
That's a personal agenda, right? If I were to put a minister right in front of that school, would he run down the Minister of Education? It's like, I have to leave because I need to go to work and my child needs to be at home by this time. Minister? No, I do not think he would do that. He says, sir, please, can I go in first?
No one will run down the education minister now?
Would they run down the minister? They won't. Would they run down the policeman? No. Special officer, special branch officer? No. Would they run down a teacher? I'm not so certain. But would they run down a cleaner? Would they run down a security officer taking care of the whole school environment? We saw what we saw, right? So it's a matter of respect, which
And
is
the value
not.
of the
It's
life.
also I would call self-entitlement. Like, I am driving a Bentley. You are merely earning the amount of money I make in just one day for your whole salary for the month. So I don't care if I run you down. It's self-entitlement, don't you think? It's not about societal classes. It's more about I can and I will.
It is about classes. I run a Bentley, and what are you? You're driving some Japanese car, you're driving some Asian car. Like, please move aside. The worst part of it all, you are driving against the flow of traffic, wanting to run down somebody. So there's so many offenses there. But because it's is not being managed by the higher security level, so they think they can do such things.
I think they perhaps they also know what they can or cannot do. Every profession, be it first aider, medical, or even the security, they know that, oh, this is his limit. He cannot do anything to me. He cannot summon me. He cannot bring me to police. He cannot arrest me. So they push their luck. Say, yeah, you are a security guard. You're just supposed to stand here and clock hours. So I think that's why he took the chance to push. But I think it applies to a lot of frontline jobs. I mean, we know a lot of nurses who also get abused, by patients, relatives. They face the nature of the job. They have to face individuals. They face Singaporeans, they face foreigners, and they have to deal with so much crap every day. So it's not only security, that I see is an issue now.
I would agree. Frontliners have to uphold unpopular policies. You can go in, you can't. 3% go in, you're not a family member, you cannot go in. So they go like, I need to go in, I need to see the person. He believed that it's his privilege, and you are just the gatekeeper.
Correct.
So please let me in. But if you can't, means you can't, because they are just holding up the policies which they are supposed to do it correctly.
But if you say a security guard is deemed someone who is lowly, like a cleaner, but a nurse is someone who is educated. Some of the nurses have master's degree, and yet they face the same problems.
So
are they merely seen as doctors' handmaidens, or it's like, oh, you're a doctor, I will not talk to you like that, but you're a nurse, I can shout at you.
Isn't that a societal issue where you see people in
classes, tiers?
In classes, in tiers?
Yeah, I mean, it happens everywhere. I mean, but my concern is even doctors do get yelled at, and I think it's an issue with society and in terms of, like you say, stress, expectations, entitlement, because doctors get abused, nurses get abused. I mean, we have bus drivers who get abused. We see people on the road, those traffic police, even the saman ladies also getting abused. I think it's more than that. It's the person who's doing the abuse and the state of mind that they are in that is a key issue. So I mean, is it a societal problem? Are we brought up in such a hot house here in Singapore or even around the world? I mean, we have research and we have data that it is quite prevalent, and not only in Singapore, that people are getting uptight. You get road rage happening around. But now we're seeing a lot of anger, frustration being taken out by people like what you said, who are just doing their job. They're just messengers.
True.
So why do you think that these frontliners are not fighting back, are not reacting? They are just merely doing their jobs. Why do you think they don't react? Are they not trained to react?
No, one would be is to uphold the company's policy. One, you're not supposed to hurt the public. When you provide security, you're not supposed to hurt the public. Secondly, you're supposed to serve the public. And based on this perception, you're supposed to serve me, right? How come you're not serving me now? Let me in. It's my right to come in. So, but I say you cannot come in. But what do you know? You only a security guard. You only a nurse. What else do you know?
A lot of our service staff, except for a handful, don't react. I know we have had stories where the police, the security will fight back, challenge the guy, the abuser, but majority they don't.
They were trained to defend, but not to hurt. You cannot be the offender. You cannot go on the offensive. You must defend.
There was one year when the Alexandra Hospital, the CEO was really upset about his nurses being abused, that he actually got them to attend a martial arts course, Aikido. Now, Aikido is something that does not offend, but it's defensive, protective. And because of that, he had a lot of flack. The public says that he's teaching his nurses how to hit the public, but it's not. So they had to stop the whole program.
But shouldn't frontliners be able to defend themselves?
Exactly.
Or we should wait until they get hit, they get run down before we do something?
I've seen increasingly a lot of signages coming up in restaurants, in offices that, hey, our staff demands or is expected to serve you, but we also expect you as a customer to give us or the frontliners some respect. I'm starting to increase that management, especially from organization and companies, are starting to do more to protect their staff. And maybe from a legal perspective, these signages say, hey, we have the right to refuse to serve you if you don't behave in a nice manner. So I thought that's a very positive move forward in Singapore. Yeah. So I think they are reacting. Companies are reacting, maybe not in terms of martial arts and all, but there are policies in place. But can they be trained more? Like grievance handling, how to recognize or spot a potential abuser coming in. I think that might help.
I think we need to deter the public from going that one step further of abuse. What the police has done, police also suffer abuse from time to time when you read the news, but they now have a camera or
a body cam.
A body cam. The same goes for the NEA officers and some of the frontliners. I think nurses should have it. Security guards should have it. I think that's the first deterrent where when they are recorded, then they know. That's the best part where you will know who will be at the right side of justice. Right?
But I have a question. Yes, I have a question here. Why can't people be nice? Why must people be forced to be nice? Why must I have a body cam in order to get that person to be nice to me?
When it comes to conflict, there's always like two parties, right? It's about I'm on the right side of the law. When you have a body cam, that would be the best proof ever to show whether you are on the right side or the wrong side of the law. Let that be the proof of it. And I think security guards, nurses, taxi drivers, the frontliners, they do not have this capacity to do so. We need that so that when it comes to accusation, at least they have proof.
Yeah, but it's quite sad that now we need to rely on cameras. Gone are the days where if you hit the traffic or you hit a car while parking, you write your number and say, hey, sorry, this is my number, call me, and then we can settle the damages. Now everybody is for themselves, trying to get away,
It's the way we live, to each their own.
Yeah. It's
How
sad.
many people in this society fabric, think about the person next to it? It's a race, right? Especially in smaller cities like this. I give you this example. Look at Singapore, then look at Hong Kong. The moment the plane lands, everybody just rush all the way to immigration just to be the first person there because they do not want to be the last person in queue. It all happens in cities like this. They need to win. They need to be the first. I don't care about the rest. As long as I get there, I don't care about the rest. This caring society, this whole envelope needs to change.
So while we have safety elements, we have training for our frontliners, body cams, whatever, is it now the time to go into the next step and start training society? Short of saying let's bring back our campaigns, we are so famous for what? Busy Bee campaigns, what productivity, courtesy campaigns. Is it time to bring that back?
I think reminders are good. I give you this example. We think less of the foreign workers who clean our HDB blocks, but imagine a week without them, what will happen to the block? Nobody does the cleaning. That's how important they are.
There was during the lockdown, during circuit breaker, they were not allowed to. And a couple of, I think MPs actually got the residents to do it. That's when the residents realized how much work these foreign workers were carrying out.
We also need to understand that we are here in this part of society because of the opportunity that we have that was created and is meant for us. Those who are on the other side of the fence are those who doesn't have the same opportunity like us. So for me, they are doing a lot to save us from moving towards that direction. Because we are here, they put us on a balance. It's just a matter of understanding that they are doing their part for us. Imagine if the whole thing just swap over. Can we handle it if we were to be abused? For those who think that they have the rights to do whatever they like to do, imagine the one who's being hurled at are their children, their son, their daughters, their mothers. Would they be angry? Would they be upset? So these are the things that we tend to forget as society, as a community, as a person. It's about respect.
So, are there like 4 examples of why people are always uptight? They're stressed, or they were bullied and they want to find someone else to bully and give take their stress out on someone else, or they're rushing. I mean, there are different reasons for people doing this, besides being an innate nature nurture kind of a issue.
It also could stem from the fact that, instead of teaching respect, a lot of Asian families teach fear. So, for instance, the mother would say, if you don't study hard enough, you know what you're going to be? You're going to be a security guard. You're going to be a cleaner. See, that person cleaning the road probably didn't study well enough. So it's the installation of fear, and also the installation of the knowledge that if I don't study, I become someone who is beneath me.
True.
So that could be one reason. The other reason could be the fact that you are so frustrated that you need to take it out on someone. You may be angry with your boss, but you can't take it out on your boss. You take it out on the next person, the lady who cleans your tray, the security guard who stops you from entering your office building because you're not allowed to. So you take it out on them.
Why is everybody so high strung? Why can't you just give in, understand? Okay, no, it's okay, never mind. If you got my order wrong, or why is everybody so high strung? I don't recall growing up in this growing up to have that in my environment. I don't see it that often, but now you keep seeing it. Is it they're too busy? There are too many things happening.
I think
or
there's
just
so many
upset?
factors that cause stress, mentally and bodily stress. Everybody wants to be on that fast lane. Everybody wants fast service. Everybody wants it good. Everybody think that they deserve to be in the first place at any point of the day. Like it's a privilege, right? But Asian culture is to instill fear, yes, but little that we know, just like what I said earlier on, what differs two-person is the opportunity that we have and what they could not have, and that makes them living the way they live. So we just need to be kind and say, thank you for being there. Because the world comes in a balance, right? We are here because someone is balancing us on the other end. That's what I was trying to say. We need to have more respect towards other people.
Right.
I want to give this scenario, right? The Bentley inched forward and the security guard just punched the car, dented. Now, who's the victim now? See? Like that. But in self-defense, can he do it? Should he do it? Would he be okay? Who pays for the damages? So these are the things that it's very grey.
I think the security guard really performed up to what he was supposed to do. He was standing there, he made sure he didn't retaliate. I think kudos to a lot of the frontliners who by virtue of you being in the job, sometimes let's say even nursing and let's say even banking or any other government jobs, public facing jobs, you need a certain character, to be able to talk to the auntie, talk to the uncle, and handle this disgruntled, these people, unhappy people. So I think it's also that person. So kudos to him for not taking it out. I mean, the other people would have just hammered the car and just to, they security guards would also have their own frustrations, But he kept his cool.
He's being very professional.
Yeah, he kept his cool. And yes, I think that's the word, being very professional. So can individuals maintain their own integrity and be professional too? Which is very lacking.
But sometimes when you be professional, you anger the other person even more.
True.
If you keep your cool and you say, I'm just doing my job, the person might get angrier and angrier. Then how would you as a security guard or as a nurse handle that problem? Because if the anger or the abuse escalate, how would you? Would you retaliate? Would you continue sitting there?
So it takes two hands to clap. So definitely, if the nurse were to, or whoever's the front line were to go, hey, no, it's my job. You just have to listen. No, I'm in authority here. That happens too. Then I think that's wrong. The frontliner shouldn't be antagonizing. Yes, they have their SOPs, their guidelines to deliver the message, to deliver the ruling. But anything beyond that, I think they need to escalate it. But no point saying that. And there are people who are given a little bit of power, think they are God, and say, no, I'm the security guard here. I stand my ground, things like that. And then I think that adds to the anger, adds to the frustration.
It fuels the whole
The whole
situation.
thing.
So, in short, what, frontliners are designed to be abused?
No, they're not designed to be abused. By virtue, I think maybe they are. They're in a position to be abused. But it's how they're trained, and also their character.
I think the issue is not on the frontliners. It's about the offenders, the people whom they are serving. You grew up in an environment where you mentioned that you have not seen so much of abuse like this, right?
Yeah, I haven't. Yeah.
Now, my question is, how do we softly and kindly, innately teach people, remind people to be kinder to each other?
Oh, I get the right policy now. I think the basic rule is for you to be kinder, you need that understanding. And you can only understand that person better if you wear that person's shoes. You are taking on that role. So I think there needs to be education, even from a young age in school, about understanding the job. I always remember my Chinese teacher always said, hey, you cannot waste bread, because that one slice of bread took a lot of effort to harvest, to process, and then to bake it and to mold it. And that really stuck with me until now, because we don't see a lot of the work, like what you said. The cleaners during the COVID, the lockdown, they couldn't come out, but they do everything. The little bit of things that is not done on a daily basis will add up. So I think education is key. I think we have hit the right point where it is not the frontliners. They have enough training, they have enough protection, but the key issue is how do we train or prevent the abuser from becoming the abuser. And I think by understanding how that person is like, he's just carrying out an instruction created maybe by an organization or a committee that's higher than him. So he can't do anything. Even if he wants to change, he has to charge you the $10. He has to clamp you because you are not following the rules or you're coming in. Yeah. So I think firstly putting them in their shoes, that might help through education, awareness. But it's also making it clear that, hey, they are all equal in society. Everybody has a value.
In extension to that, I want to ask the both of you this question. If I were to put a minister in front of you, a policeman and a security guard, can we respect all three the same?
No, you can't.
Why?
It's different. Firstly, respect has to be earned.
Yes.
All right. And I believe each one of them, I would have to see them in action, how they perform, how are they serving what they are meant to be. It's a policeman. So they're all in service, but they are serving in a different capacity, in a different extent. I would judge it based on that. Of course, by virtue of you reaching that position, you have acquired a certain level of respect, because not anyone can be a policeman or minister or a frontliner, for example.
Yeah, but not everyone can be a security guard because you do not want it. Somebody has to assume the job.
Correct.
Right?
Okay, when I was growing up, this was what my grandmother told me. You cannot disrespect someone because he's doing a lowly job, because you wouldn't know if he had the money, he wouldn't have been a doctor or even a lawyer, because it's just that it's his lot in life that has made him become where he is right now. So I grew up thinking like that. Whether it's a minister, whether it's a security guard, I would just say hello. There is that ounce of respect that I was brought up to recognize.
Yeah, but not everybody can be like you or have your family culture. It's about expanding it to the rest of us.
I think that's where society comes in. I think it's time where schools, communities start to highlight this. And we have seen it work especially in the migrant communities. Especially during this COVID, this lockdown, there was a lot of emphasis, a lot of outpouring of sympathy, a lot of understanding about their life, their plight. And that, I think, really changed a lot of minds. And you see a lot of converts. I don't know, I don't like to use the word, but people are starting to see that these are individuals who are here to help us, and they do a lot for us. They built Singapore, And I think we need to go on that path in everything, all our frontliners. And it's all boils down to how the community views the community.
So Singapore Kindness Week needs to do a lot more to spread more kindness. Because it doesn't go to everybody. It goes to some, it goes to a lot more, but it has not reached almost everybody.
I think it's more than just campaigns.
Yeah.
I mean, the migrant workers didn't have a campaign. It grew from bottom up. It grew from individuals realizing, even sharing. I remember we had an article where we posted about a young girl who brought food out, to the workers who came to help the house to give them. It starts like that. It is a ground up, and it's awareness, and we need to seed the young. We need to tell parents to stop saying you become a trolley pusher or a cleaner, and that you would see change throughout society, and hopefully people will be more tolerant, understanding, rather than just get upset at the slightest thing. Everybody is so high strung.
Yeah, but we need to have a movement to make them realize that they are high strung. People are so individualistic now.
No, look, we're all brought up in the sense that community comes first. Not like in America. Not like in America where you have the First Amendment, which is the individual's rights. I have a right not to wear a mask. And I have the right not to like you wearing a mask. So you have to take off your mask. And that's the thinking of the individual rights. Now, in Asia, it's more like community, the kampong spirit. Has that dissipated? I mean, look, are we brought up to think of, I have to be first all the time, so it's I, me, and myself, killing off the kampong spirit, killing off anything else? Do you think that's the reason why people started to abuse people who are deemed to be beneath them?
I think it's to get ahead at all costs.
Some of the values has evaporated. That's what I see. Looking forward, Singapore moving forward, being so advanced, something has got to give. But in order to change society, you need to create that environment. And I think there are pockets of good environment where we can live in, where we can learn on how to respect each other, but it has not expanded throughout the whole country, or at least it has not covered the whole area. Say a good environment plays a very big part. To respect anyone or each other, you take a lot more than just a school to do it.
So we agree that management has to take the effort to protect in terms of training, equipment, and clear processes to elevate issues, so that people actually come and help them because they are just doing the job. So I think that's one. Second thing is we need more education. You mentioned schools are not the only solution, but if we add schools and families, how can we train families in society? That's something that we haven't.
No, for a child to know respect has to start from when he or she is very young. Like if you watch your family diss someone who is a dishwasher or even a cleaner at the hawker center, and you grow up thinking that you can, then there's no respect. Even if the child goes to school and there's this lesson called respect, I don't think the child will accept that because it's like my father and my mother actually just kicked this. So again, respect has to be learned when a person is young. Yes, respect has to be earned, but respect also has to be learned. So that's one thing. Schools alone can never do. It has to start from family.
I have a proposal. If each school or each individual in a school becomes an ambassador for that household, you go home, you are the ambassador for kindness. So almost every household would have an ambassador on to respect other people or for kindness, right? So they will be the one who create that positivity vibe or environment in that house.
So they remind the parents.
They remind the parents, because parents must also understand that they should and they can learn from the child.
True.
So if we can go to every single household by getting to the children, get into the household, then create an environment, then yes, we can learn from there.
So we have families playing a key role, schools helping to inculcate the values in kids so they can bring it home. Society
And media plays an important part. Remind us, be it the traditional TV, radio, where it's incidental, where you see posters on the street. It's just simple reminders to tell you to be kind. And eventually, you will get it into your head and into your system that you need to be kind.
So positive messaging.
Yes,
Yeah,
throughout the
reinforcement,
whole year. Small messages, anywhere, it can be done. I'll give you the example. If we are all crazy about Wi-Fi, right? Anywhere we go, do you have Wi-Fi? Do you have Wi-Fi? So the moment you get the password pop up, have you been kind to someone today? Then you get the password done. Something like that. Yeah. It's subtle, but it's a long haul. You need to have the stamina for it.
I think that's what we need right now. I mean, we talked about companies already doing what they can.
Yes.
Policies, cameras and stuff. But I think the key thing now is for society, and like what you mentioned, hopefully people will pick up these ideas and see where we go.
Well, people have to realize that they cannot keep attacking a single service person, being an asshole all the time. They have to think about it. Even a toilet seat deals with an asshole at a time. With that, thank you very much.